Hare Krishna. Omagyantimirandasya Jnananjanashilakaya Chakshurunmelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. So, uh, just before we start this purport discussion, I just have a few things to share. Uh, Yesterday, His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj, he took disciples meet in Vrindavan. So he gave very nice uh, he shared, of course, all philosophies are very nice, but there are some things I thought I can share with all of you, which is very nice things to meditate on. He emphasizes this, but yesterday when I heard, I felt little nice. So there are a few things which he shared. So first thing he said is, Vrindavan is not a place. It is a state of consciousness that can be approached by sincere surrender to the will of Lord. That means wherever we are now, if we are able to surrender to the sincere will of the Lord, we are in Vrindavan. 1 minute. So we are surrendering to the sincere will of Lord. Any activity, anything that is happening in our life, if I'm able to accept it, yes, this is the Lord's arrangement for me, and I am satisfied. That means we can always be in Vrindavan. It's a nice thing for us that it is not just you are in which city or you are in which place, it is the state of consciousness. All the time, if I'm accepting, yes, this is what Lord arranged for me, we feel that gratitude in the heart and we feel that connection. That's how I'm always connected to Krishna. This is the first thing. And then Maharaj is telling that Srila Prabhupada came to Vrindavan to prepare himself and then he left. He taught us the principle of surrender. So Prabhupada could have stayed, but what Prabhupada is teaching, this is actually what is Gopi Bhav. People say Gopi Bhav means you have to do some extra things. No need of extra things. Prabhupada also had Gopi Bhav. And what is that Gopi Bhav? Is he is ready to surrender. If I am ready to surrender, accept the will of Lord and surrender, that is what is. Gopis also said, okay, Ashlishrava Padaratam Vinashtama Adarshana Marmahatam Karotva Yatha Tata Va Vitadatulam Pato Matprananatastu Saeva Napara. Krishna, we are ready to surrender, whatever you do. And we discussed also 2 days before what is pure devotional service. The Shraddha basically means what makes me happy in this life. That is what people Shraddha is. Everybody has different activity they are doing because that is their Shraddha. Whatever we are repeatedly doing, that is what we are. I just saw the hoarding on the road now. Whatever you are means what you are doing it repeatedly, that is what you are. No, that is their Shraddha. People's Shraddha is in money, their food, their dress, their movies, their sports, and all. And people have Shraddha on the Lord, but they want that Lord should do something for them. But our Shraddha is what? We want to do something for the Lord. That is pure devotional service. So this is what Prabhupada taught. And then this is a very important point which I wanted to meditate is when we are absorbed in our seva, that is the path by which we can realize Vrindavan. It is such a important understanding that if I am absorbed in my uh, service, I can just, that's all. No need to do anything extra. We need not do any extra activities. We just have to get absorbed in the service. Say I am doing, say, cooking or serving the deities, or I am taking care of some center, I am doing preaching, I am studying. Any service we are doing, all the 9 processes, most important thing is not the result, how much absorption I am getting in that service. And this also, even outside people, like the scientists, why they are able to achieve, they are able to get that very information, like Einstein, he is able to see E is equal to mc square and all. How he got it? Because he was so much absorbed, he entered into a state of samadhi. That's why he could get. Is equal to MC square is not something which somebody can calculate and experiment. He just got that realization because of his absorption. The materially it is possible. So if we are spiritually getting absorbed, and this is the best activity to be absorbed, we will be free from all. This is what is samadhi. And then what happens? Then we realize Vrindavan, because this is directly connected to Krishna. There is chit potency involved. In material activity, you get material things. But in spiritual activity, because it is connected to Krishna, there is chit potency. That means that knowledge is what will help us get to that state, that Vrindavan. Three things are there: Sandhini, Samvit, Ladini. This Samvit is chit potency. That is very important, because that is the what we need is knowledge, and that knowledge comes in absorption. We also discuss knowledge comes in sacrifice, knowledge comes in absorption in the service. And then another important point is shared is like learning to be truly humble, surrendered servant, and to be bold when needed to be bold, but always be in the spirit of being servant of servant. This I don't have any realization, but I'm just sharing the point what is given by Maharaj. We have to be truly humble, surrendered servant. We need to be bold when needed, but always be in the spirit of being the servant of servant. And then he told that we should always be hearing the glories of Lord, chanting the holy names. And then he gave the example of Raghunath Das Goswami. Our Prayajan Acharya is performing so much tapasya. He's just eating. That means he won't eat. We can satisfy our senses little bit, but sense gratification is very dangerous. That's what he's teaching. And now very important point. He says Krishna and Srimati Radharani are fully present to bestow their full mercy in the form of their holy name. That means all the time Krishna and Radharani are always ready to give their full mercy. How? When we are constantly chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So they're always fully present with full mercy available in the holy name. So we have full access all the time. And in their description, so in the, not only holy name, in the description of them, the past tense, in the deities also. And third thing is in the hearts of devotees who are trying to sincerely serve them. So we can get mercy of Radha and Krishna, full mercy, when we hear about them, when we chant the holy name, when we hear. And then there is deities. And the last important most thing is into the hearts of devotees, and through them they will manifest. And Mara said that to chant japa, we should think Radha and Krishna are with me while I am chanting japa. We have to feel that Radha and Krishna are just sitting besides me hearing what I am chanting. So let me chant as attentively as possible. And this is another very nice point he said. When we are doing seva, we are doing seva for our beloved Acharya. Srila Prabhupada, we are doing seva, who is a resident of Vrindavan. By following his teachings, we are learning to be a follower of Brajavasis. That's all. We want to be Brajavasis at the end of the. That is what is our success, and that is very much possible if I'm just serving and pleasing my Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, because he is a real Brajavasi. And then he says, when we meet devotees, we see them as being very dear to our gurus. Any devotee, they are very dear to our guru, and dear to Srila Prabhupada also, and dear to Sri Radha Shyam Sundar. We must see each other in this light. Then we will be, if I am seeing a devotee, oh, they are all very dear to Krishna, so let me serve them, let me please them. And very important point. When pilgrimage to Vrindavan is not to enjoy, but to be enjoyed. That means I am not coming to enjoy here, but to be enjoyed by Radha and Krishna and our acharyas, and they enjoy when we embrace the character of three things: to be honest, sincere, and humble devotees. So when we have these three things, they will enjoy us. We should be honest, we should be sincere, and we should be humble devotees. And to cry for the mercy of Vrindavan through our lifestyle. Our lifestyle should be in such a way. And to cultivate bhakti by pleasing Krishna. And now this is very nice further instructions. He says, if we have good sadhana, three things: good sadhana, good behavior, and sincerely trying to serve the great mission of Srila Prabhupada, then Mara said, I'll be very pleased with you. So, three things. All gurus will be pleased with this. What three things we should do? Sincere sadhana we should do. Second thing is, we should have good behavior. Third is, we should be sincerely trying to good sadhana and good behavior, and we should strive to serve in this mission of Srila Prabhupada. So this is what we need to do. And there is another point. He says the word seva is different than service. Seva is where we put ourselves behind and we think what will most please the person whom we are serving. That is it. That means if I am serving the deities, I should get so much absorbed in that. Let me please my Radha Govindji, Radha Sham Sundar. That's the mood we have to serve them. Let me please them when I'm serving. And when I'm serving any devotee, I should be in a mood, let me please them. Say now I'm giving class. So I should be in a mood, let me please the devotees who are attending. So I should always be in a mood to serve. I should be always in a mood to please. This is, I felt that this is one of the most important thing we should always maintain. And this is very much possible for us. Two things. One is absorption in the service which we are doing. I should be completely absorbed. I don't. Then what happens when we start getting absorbed? Then when we are chanting the holy name, also we can get we will be absorbed. We say, so, okay, I don't want anything. I just want to please Radha and Krishna. Let me chant to please Radha and Krishna. Let me do to please Radha and Krishna. And that's how we get absorption. It wasn't like and we want to actually help Srila Prabhupada, and it is not getting Prabhupada's attention and enjoying him. Maharaj telling it was actually helping Srila Prabhupada in his service to his Guru. And best way to serve our Vaishnava community is to be in service, or service should be uh, properly done. It should not be disservice. So these are the few things. So we will just and you can share the screen, Arvind bro. So we are reading second canto, ninth chapter, uh, text number 10, and we are to 10, 11. So this is a very important chapter. We have to 1 minute. I'll just share the screen. can share the 10th one. Oh, if it is on 14th, okay, we'll continue from here. Just 10, 11, 12. You can go up, Arvind. Not like that. Just this up down bar is this like that. That's, yeah, let it be. 12. Okay. Come down, come on. Translation 11th. Sorry, actually, I am not able to. So the inhabitants of Vaikuntha planet are described as having glowing sky bluish complexion. Their eyes resemble lotus flowers. Their dress is of yellowish color, and their bodily features are very attractive. They are just the age of growing youth. They all have four hands. They are all nicely decorated with pearl necklaces with ornamental medallions, and they all appear to be effulgent. So we discussed this purport. Next, 13th one. 12th, you can go down. Go down. Arvind Pro, scroll down. Effulgent coral in complexion have garlands on their heads, blooming like a somewhere here. This also we discussed because some people, some of them uh, have Sarupya Mukti. 30. These airplanes belong to yeah. So the goddess of fortune in her transcendental form is engaged in loving service of Lord's lotus feet, and being uh, moved by the black bees, followed by spring, she is not only engaged in various pleasure, variegated pleasure, service to the Lord, along with her constant companions, but she is also engaged in singing the glories of Lord's activities. So this is actually the pleasure of all living entities in the spiritual world. They constantly derive pleasure in glorifying the Lord. Now, this is the part of spiritual world. What we see is anything that is repeated, we feel it is boring. But spiritual world is not like that. Anything that is what is done all the time, and they don't feel any problem in that. They don't means not problem. That is what is actually pleasure. So in the material world, we want always the change. Of course, spiritual world also has change, but we have to little bit extend our intelligence to understand what exactly will be spiritual world, because there things are always the same. Same in the sense they do the same activity, but even though they are doing the same activity, they don't feel bored because uh, uh, because that's how it is. That is the first thing that happens. Like Mother Yashoda is every day she's feeding Krishna. She's not bored. For us, we think, oh, it's so boring. Same activity you are doing all the time. Here it is because it is material. There it is spiritual. You feel nava rasayamanam. Like every time you feel little more ecstatic doing the same activities. That's why people, when they are chanting the holy name, if somebody has chanted very sincerely and more they are chanting, they feel more and more joy, more and more rasa. That is why spiritual world. In material world, anything repeated, it become pale. Say if I like mango juice, if I start drinking mango juice 3 times in a day for 1 week, after that, I don't want mango juice for 1 year because you feel bored. This is what is material world. But spiritual world, anytime you take mango juice, it gives new rasa, new pleasure. So there is a difference. Next shloka. So here, Lord Brahma saw in the Vaikuntha planet the personality of Godhead, who is Lord of the entire uh, devotee community and the Lord of the goddess of fortune, the Lord of all sacrifices, and the Lord of universe, and who is served by the foremost servitors like Narada, Sunanda, Prabhala, and Arhana, his immediate associates. So Brahma is able to identify. I may say how he got how he came to know the names. So they are revealed. Like Brahma is first time seeing, but he is able to understand these are these personalities. They are all revealed. So purport Prabhupada writes, when we speak of a king, it is naturally understood that the king is accompanied by his confidential associates, like his secretary, private secretary, IDA, ministers, and advisors. So also when we see the Lord, we see him with his different energies, associates, confidential servitors, etc. So the Supreme Lord, who is the leader of all living entities, the Lord of all devotees, sects, the Lord of all opulences, the Lord of sacrifices, and the enjoyer of everything, is his in his entire creation, is not only the Supreme Person, but is also always surrounded by his immediate associates, all engaged in their loving transcendental service. So it is always increasing. Material world things are always pale, they are always boring. But spiritual world, that is one speciality. And another thing is, every time like Radharani sees Krishna, she tells to Gopis, "Hey, who is this young boy? I never saw in our village. He's so beautiful." So every time Radharani looks Krishna, Krishna looks very special, very beautiful. And same thing with Krishna. And she gets attracted. Radharani, she hears Krishna's flute and she gets so much attracted and her heart goes for that music, and then she hears the name Krishna and she gets so much attracted. She says, "Oh, who is this person?" The name Krishna is so attractive to her. And then she sees the form of Krishna, she get attracted. Then she tells to the her Saki's friends, "Arey, I am so unchaste. I got attracted to 3 people at a time. One who played the flute, one whose name is Krishna, one whose form is like this." And then she says, "How unchaste I am and getting attracted to 3 people." Then the Saki says, "Don't worry, all 3 are one person only." So, in that way, Krishna is always attractive. And even Vaikuntha also, it's same thing. Yeah, all time the Leela is repeated. Devotees forget that it is already done. Yeah, that is also there. So this is the speciality of the spiritual world, that we see the Leela, we hear the Leelas, and for us also we are hearing the Leelas. And I don't know how many years Damodar Leela. Every time we hear, and we want to hear. It is good. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and with Gadadhar Pandit, he was hearing past tense about Dhruv Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj again and again and again. And that is what is, if a person advances more, the same pastime he will relish more and more. And not only that, even philosophy also we relish. We can understand it more deeply. Like today, Prabhuji was telling Vishwam. Vishwam means Lord is called the universe. That is the first word in Vishnu Sahasranama also. Vishnu Sahasranama, the 1000 names of Lord. The first name of Lord starts with Vishwam. Vishwam Vishnu Vashakaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu. So this is how the glorification of Lord starts with the name Vishwam. Now, whenever we hear the name Vishwam, we understand it more and more in a deeper way. We say, yes, this is very like now we heard Vishwam. Again, we can hear the name Vishwam and we get a different understanding. Oh, Lord is the energy, his energy is manifested as Vishwam. You can understand in different way. Oh Lord, he expands himself, or he is pervaded here as a Paramatma in all the Srup. So many ways we understand, and that also gives so much pleasure. Not only just the pastime of Lord, even the Srishti Leela also gives pleasure. That's what is Sukadeva Goswami is explaining, and he is in full ecstasy. And Parikshit Maharaj is hearing about the creation, he is also in ecstasy. Not just 10th canto, but even the Srishti Leela also makes them. Even like if you see Brahma glorifying or Kunti Maharani or Gopis Gita, everywhere there is some glorification of Lord where his creation is mentioned like that. And that gives, when we understand the same, like after reading this philosophy nicely, Bhagavatam, again we read Bhagavad Gita, we get a more deeper understanding and it gives much more pleasure. And text 16 says the personality of Godhead, seen leaning favorably towards his loving servitors, is very sight intoxicating and attractive, appeared to be very much satisfied. He had smiling face decorated with an enchanting reddish hue. He was dressed in yellow robes and was wearing the helmet on his head. He had 4 hands and his chest was marked with the line of goddesses of fortune. This is the description of Lord. So Vaikuntha Loka is described, the Vaikuntha Vasis are described, and how they are relating to the Lord is explained, and now the Lord's form is also described here. And Prabhupada writes in the Padma Purana Uttarakanda, there is a full description of Yoga Pita or the uh, particular place where the Lord gives audience to his eternal devotees. In the Yoga Pita, the personification of religion, knowledge, opulence, and renunciation are all seated at the lotus feet of the Lord. The 4 Vedas, namely Rig, Sama, Yajur, and Atharva, are present there personally to advise the Lord. The 16 energies headed by Chanda are all present there. Chanda and Kumuda are the first 2 doorkeepers. In the middle door are the doorkeepers named Bhadra and Subhadra. And the last door are Jaya and Vijaya. There are other doorkeepers also named Kumuda, Kumudaksha, Pundarika, Vamana, Sankukarna, Sarvantara, Sumukha, etc. Sarvanetra, Sumukha, etc. The Lord's palace is well decorated and protected by the above mentioned doorkeepers. Now the question is, who is going to come to attack Lord in the Vaikuntha? Nobody have access only. Then why there is doorkeepers? Why there are doors? It's actually for decoration. And all these servants, even though there is nobody to come and attack the Lord, because nobody can cross the middle world only. To go to Brahman only, the demons can hardly reach, even Brahma Jyoti. When they are liberated, they only can reach. I mean, why you need doors and doorkeepers and weapons in Vaikuntha? Basically, it's a decoration to make them feel okay, something is so nice. And we have somebody with weapons, and even though there is nothing needed, but they want to experience that type of relation with the Lord. They say we are servants. Now you want to serve means what all you can serve. We say I'll be a servant in form of a soldier for the Lord. I'll be a servant as a doorkeeper. I'll try to protect. Somebody may come into the Lord. So they have different mood with which they wanted to render that service to the Lord. Otherwise, in Vaikuntha, there is no need of nobody can come only, and no enemy for the Lord in Vaikuntha, and nobody comes to do any harm for the Lord, and nobody can do also. But these are all to make it that rasa. In Goloka also, the demons don't come. But there is always a fear of some demon coming, so that they can more surrender to Krishna, more become more closer to Krishna. Same thing like gopis always feel that they are married and then they have some husband, and then we have to hide from the husband to meet Krishna. As such, there is nothing, but that mood helps them to, when they are secretly meeting Krishna, they feel great joy. Yes, we met Krishna secretly. So this is what helps them to experience that joy. And same thing in Vaikuntha, because there is Dasya Rasa, there is Shanta Rasa. The doors have that rasa with the Lord, and the servants Jaya Vijaya, they have that Dasya Rasa. They feel, okay, I am the servant, I am the soldier of Lord, I am the doorkeeper of Lord, like that. So this is to help them. This is a small understanding that we can have further understanding by our acharyas. So this is basically to enhance that rasa which they are experiencing. We'll take one more verse. Next verse. So here it says that the Lord was seated on his throne and was surrounded by different energies, namely the 4, the 16, and the 5, and he was endowed with his 6 natural opulences, along with other insignificant energies of temporary character. But he was the factual Supreme Lord, enjoying his own abode. Well, this is what Prabhupada's purport. Prabhupada, basically, he's answering certain questions. If we want to remember the purport, we should write a question for each purport. So, what is the question? If you remember the question, then we can remember the answer. So, we'll see what is the answer Prabhupada is giving. Basically, he's explaining, but if we want to remember, we have to, like, if somebody asks, okay, what is this 6? 4, 16, 5. So further Prabhupada is explaining this purport. The Lord is naturally endowed with 6 opulences. Specifically, he is the richest, he is the most powerful, he is the most famous, he is the most beautiful, he is greatest in knowledge, and he is the greatest renouncer of as well. As far as material creative energy, he is served by the 4, namely the principles of Prakriti, Purusha, Mahatattva, and Ego. This is the 4. What are the 4? Prakriti, Purusha, Mahatattva, and Ego. So Prakriti is, we understand, this is Durga Devi, and Mahatattva is the energy, that is what everything is made, and Ego is what activates this Mahatattva, and Purusha is the energy behind all the things. So in that way we understand that without ego, the Mahatattva will not have anything. This is ego is very important, because there is ego when enters, the Mahatattva has these 3 modes, then ego enters into Sattva, Rajastama, and everything is manifest. Of course, there can be many other more deeper understanding. I'm just giving some very basic understanding. He is served by the 16, namely 5 gross elements: earth, water, air, fire, and sky. The 5 perspective, perspective, perceptive sense organs: the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. The 5 working sense organs: hands, legs, voice, evacuation, outlet, and genitals, and the mind. And he is also served by the 5, which includes the 5 objects, namely form, taste, smell, sound, and touch. All these 25 elements serve the Lord in material creation, and all of them are personally present in Vaikuntha to serve the Lord there. The insignificant opulence, numbering 8, the Ashtasiddhis, attained by yogis for temporary lordship, are also under his control, but he is naturally full with all such powers without any effort, and therefore he is the Supreme Lord. Now, to understand is not so easy, but at least theoretically we understand. Okay, all of them are personified form. We cannot understand what does it mean personified form, but we can uh, what they are doing there, because they are all material for us. But they are also there in the spiritual world, so it is quite difficult to understand. You can go down. The living being by service, penance, and performance of bodily exercise can temporarily attain some wonderful powers, but that does not make him the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord, by his own potency, is unlimitedly more powerful than any yogi. He is unlimitedly more learned than any jnani. He is unlimitedly richer than any wealthy person. He is unlimitedly more beautiful than any beautiful living being, and he is unlimitedly more charitable than any philanthropist. He is above all, no one is equal to or greater than him, nor can anyone reach his level of perfection in any of the above powers by any amount of penance or yogic demonstration. The yogis are dependent on his mercy. Out of his immensely charitable disposition, he can award some temporary powers to the yogi because of yogis hankering after them. But to his unallowed devotees who do not want anything from the Lord save and accept his transcendental service, the Lord is so pleased that he gives him in exchange for unalloyed service. So this is a very nice way Prabhupada is explaining that how everybody is dependent on Lord's mercy. It is not possible. Okay. Yes, Shamallavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, in the text 16, that 16 energies are mentioned as doorkeepers, na Prabhuji. Here 16 energies are mentioned as 5 sense organs, 5 elements. What is the difference, Prabhuji, here?
Oh, here it is not energies Mataji. They are personified of the material elements only. Energies are different. They are like there is Leela Shakti of the Lord and Bhakta Vatsalya Shakti of the Lord, and there are other types of Shakti. They are 18 Shaktis of the Lord, which helps him in his pastimes. So they are like what do you say? Uh, like Krishna want to perform his pastime as Damodar Leela. So he will forget that he is Supreme Lord. Sometimes he remembers that he is Supreme Lord. And then his compassion for the Mother Yashoda comes out. So all these Shaktis help him in his pastime. But here, these are the elements that are mentioned. So there is a difference in it. Okay, Mataji. So here, this is one very nice thing. Like we should see that originally spiritual world and everything of the spiritual world is there in the material world, but in a perverted way. Then things become easy for us to understand what is spiritual world. Like what is the perfect form of earth? Earth is the fragrance. So best will be in spiritual world and it lives unlimitedly. What is the quality of water, what is the quality of anything in the perfect stage, in absolute stage, and without getting any degradation. It is in the best form in the spiritual world, and because it is coming here, it is coming in a very perverted way and very what do you say, in an opposite way. That's why we are getting something very limited, but otherwise everything is in a perfect way in the spiritual world, nothing boring, and everything is perfect. So start from spiritual world, then we relate to the material world, then we can understand it properly. But if you are doing it ulta, then he cannot understand. We have to see spiritual world is first, then the opposite is material world. So uh, here whatever is the like we all want to do the what is happening in spiritual world. We want to sing, we want to dance, people want to have girlfriend, boyfriend. Everything is there in spiritual world, but in a original way. Now it's like a reflection or a shadow, or it's some imitation that is happening in the material world. That's how we understand. Then it becomes easy to relate to spiritual. Oh, this is in a perfect way. Otherwise, we cannot. Generally, what we do, we compare our things with them. No, it's not like that. You start from spiritual world and try to understand material world. Lord, there is a perfect person. Like what we are doing, we are trying to make a movie hero. We are making. What does the hero means? He's perfect in dance, perfect in singing, perfect in controlling, he's the most intelligent, and we are trying to create a person who is perfect in everything, and everybody is attracted, is a very good person or very kind person. We are trying to, but if you have all perfection in some person, that is Supreme Lord. That's what Prabhupada is trying to tell. He is the ultimate, unlimitedly richest, unlimitedly beautiful, unlimitedly charitable, unlimited, and he is greatest of all great. So there is a perfect person which we are trying to make in movies and so many things. People, they know they cannot. That's why they create somebody in their imagination. But if best of the imagination is unlimitedly perfect Supreme Lord, perfect of all. So all the yogic powers are in him, all the riches are in him, all beauties are in him. So it's like that. So thank you all very much. So we'll meet one day again. I just wanted to take some little topics, maybe 10-15 minutes in the beginning. I will try to take for maybe 1 week and 3-4 days. You can personally give your feedback. If you're okay, you want to add some other topics in the beginning. Like today, I took uh, Radhanand Maharaj's sessions is just the real what Maharaj spoke in the disciples meet. So I shared something. So I thought of sharing maybe in the 5 to 10 minutes in the beginning of class, some things like that. If I'll just do it for 1 week, if you're okay with it, because that will cut our proper reading per time. So if you're okay with it, you can give me a feedback. Otherwise, you can tell me. Based on that, we'll do for 1 week. If you're okay, we'll continue. Otherwise, we'll just continue with proper purpose. Thank you all very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।